talking today about testing toxins such as heavy metals, parasites, environmental toxins, and mycotoxins, which are toxins that come from mold. And testing is a really important thing that I do in my practice. It is something that I find that has been really integral in terms of helping my patients, because in my practice, what I find is that heavy metals, environmental toxins, mycotoxins, all of these toxins have accumulated in all of our systems and are wreaking havoc on our system. And I always talk about the detox funnel. The detox funnel is your detox organs. And for me, that's your gut, your kidney, your liver, your gallbladder, your bile. And all of those organs are really important in terms of detoxing your system of these toxins. If these organs are not working well, those toxins are going to circulate throughout your system. They are going to find their way into your fatty tissues. They're just going to hang out there potentially for decades and decades and decades, and you just never know that they're hanging out there. They can also then recirculate into the system and then go back and find other tissues. And so it's so important to really understand what toxins are wreaking havoc in your system. So today I'm going to break it down, and we're going to start with heavy metals, because heavy metals are, I really just find heavy metals in almost all of my patients. It's quite disturbing, but I find lead, really commonly I find lead, mercury, I find aluminum, I find arsenic. And where are these coming from? Well, arsenic could be coming from your rice. Lead could be coming from lead paint, lead pipes, lead in your makeup, lead in your water. Mercury could be coming from your fish if you have amalgam fillings, metal fillings. Aluminum from your pots and pans, your aluminum foil, etc. Okay, so we're having so many exposures to heavy metals. And the other problem is that if our moms were exposed to heavy metals, then we potentially could have gotten heavy metals from our moms when we were in their womb, and we got it through the placenta or through the breast milk. So it's not just about your own exposures, but potentially your mom's exposures and whatever heavy metals she was carrying from her mom and her mom's mom. And this is how, we carry down our toxins, because when we are growing in the womb, during pregnancy, we are getting those toxins from mom. And actually, a lot of these toxins, the heavy metals, the environmental toxins like phthalates, which I just made a post about today, they all are go through the placental barrier into the babies. Okay, so how do you test? All right, so there's three ways. Well, there's multiple ways to test. You can test heavy metals with stool, urine, stool, urine, blood, and hair. Okay. There are some that are going to be more accurate than others. But of course, if we're testing heavy metals for a child, so if I see a child with eczema, let's say, I do often check for heavy metals. And I find it so frequently, pretty scary, but in our babies, I'm finding heavy metals. And we can do a hair test for babies. Now, I wouldn't say this is the most accurate way to test for heavy metals, but it is a way that's on the easier side for our babies, our infants, our toddlers, because they may have a hard time getting their blood drawn or getting a urine test. So the hair test I find I like to use, and we do need to get that hair from the root. And of course, there's problems with using shampoos, and if you color your hair, and those are some problems that can kind of affect the test. But that's a good one, really inexpensive too. It's like $69 or something like that for a hair test, okay? Next thing that we could do is a whole blood test. The whole blood test will check the intracellular, inside the cells, because a lot of the times those toxins can really have effect inside the cells. And then extracellular, which means outside of the cell. So it's the whole blood. And this is a great way to also test for those heavy metals, the aluminum, the lead, the mercury, etc. And that's another way to test. Additionally, we can also test in terms of essential elements, so we can see, if we basically gave something to chelate the metals out of the system, like DMSA or DMPS. These are called chelators. What these things do is they bind to the metals that are in the tissues and they pull it out, and they'll bind onto it, and then it gets excreted in your urine. And then of course it's also kind of floating around in your blood. So we could do a whole blood test, and then that takes us to the last test, which is your urine test. And the urine test, you will collect that urine over 6 hours. You're going to take DMSA. You do have to take a chelator. If you do the urine test without doing a chelator, you may actually not see a lot of your urinary excretion of those heavy metals. But if you do take a chelator, then that will pull those heavy metals out and they will excrete into your urine. And then we do collect that urine for 6 hours, okay? All of these tests do need to be ordered by a physician. And so someone asked, can I do these home tests? I know there's places you can get hair home tests. As I said, this may not be the most accurate, but it may be appropriate for babies or people who might have a hard time collecting the blood in the urine. Blood in the urine is a more common test, and sometimes I will do all three just to see, because they will tell us different things. Like, the hair may tell us, okay, how much heavy metal was deposited into the hair. The blood will tell us what's circulating around and intracellularly, and then the urine will tell us what's excreted if we did a chelation, okay? So that's heavy metals, and really common. I almost do this on everybody who comes into my practice, just because I find that almost all of us have heavy metal toxicity. It's pretty scary how prevalent this is. And at least in the people who come to see me, those of us who have chronic symptoms like eczema, gut issues, migraines, you name it. I mean, really, heavy metals can cause a problem in your endocrine system. This is your hormone system. And that means that thyroid issues, PMS problems, endometriosis, all of these hormone issues can be related to these toxins, okay? So that's heavy metals. Next on my list is environmental toxins. And environmental toxins is partially what I posted today was about phthalates, and those are plasticizers. And those are found actually not only in our plastics, but also in our fragrances. And this is so important because every time you buy a lotion or hairspray, all the shampoo, conditioner, they're all gonna have fragrances, okay? And then the fragrances, unfortunately, they put these plasticizers or phthalates in them because it actually keeps that scent there for longer. So anytime you see something that says fragrance, or if you actually see the word phthalate on there, then definitely you need to avoid this. I want you guys to go into your bathroom right now and clear out anything that says fragrance on it, okay? Because these are quite toxic. They will accumulate again in your fatty tissues, and your body will just hold on to them. So I know all of us think we just detox and it just gets out of our system. But no, these can actually hang around in our system. So we also need to test these as well too. And when we test these, we can test the environmental toxins with urine, okay? And with urine, what we're gonna do there is I do like to give you some things prior to that will actually draw the toxins out of the system, out of the cells a little more. And then we collect the urine, a first morning urine, and we'll see how many of those toxins come out. So not only the plasticizers like the phthalates that I posted about today, but the other things that will come out there are things like glyphosate, pesticides that are found in your non-organic foods. What else? Preservatives like parabens that you might find in your creams. Another one, you should go into your bathroom and just take it out right now, parabens, okay? I did see a question that passed by there, and it was, does flushing get rid of heavy metals? And the answer is yes, it will get rid of some of those. My program is 4 things, is we clean your gut, we clean your kidney, we clean your liver, and then we flush your bile. And so that's what this person is talking about. And I actually think she's one of my old patients. Hi there. So yes, you might be asking this because you did a bunch of flushes with me, and those flushes will flush out the heavy metals, the toxins, all the toxins we're talking about here. Why? Because you're flushing out bile, and bile actually gets connected and binds up. It's kind of like a binder as well too. It will bind up these heavy metals and help them get out through your stool. Okay? They actually have they've tested bile, and they've seen what's in there, and in the bile you'll see mercury, lead, aluminum, etc., etc. Okay? Of course, I remember you. Yes, I remember all my patients, and I remember you because the healing was amazing, and so I remember you definitely. Okay. So next, what do we have? Okay, so next we have mycotoxins, and mycotoxins are toxins that come from mold. And mold is a really common problem that I also find super silent. We sometimes don't know about it. What you might see if you have mold issues is you might have a lot of sinus issues. You might have a lot of chronic fatigue syndrome, headaches. You may have skin issues like eczema, psoriasis. These are really common too. You may have gut issues, bloating, etc. So this is really common when you have mold toxicity, and we will want to look at the mold toxins. They're called mycotoxins. This test is really similar to your environmental toxin panel. And you're going to take something again to help those toxins kind of come out and mobilize out into the urine. And then you're going to collect your urine, and then we're going to see how many toxins came out into the urine. Okay, so that's a great one. And you know, these tests, the mycotoxin, environmental toxin, they're in the range of, let's say, 240 to 350. Unfortunately, insurance often doesn't cover these, but you can try to get it reimbursed and potentially get some coverage. All of these tests do need to be ordered by a licensed physician, okay? And then somebody asked about parasite testing, and this is a great question. The way that we test this is with stool tests, and I really do like to do a very comprehensive stool test. I don't like to just test for parasites. If you go to your conventional doctor, then your conventional doctor may just kind of run like an O&P, which is an ova and parasite test, or they might just check for bacteria like C. difficile or something like that, H. pylori. Those are really common. But there's more to your gut than just the pathogens. We need to know if there's a great balance in your gut in terms of good bugs, bad bugs. We want the good bugs to be there, and we want the bad bugs to be low, and we want there to be a really nice balance of your microbiome. Your microbiome, the bacteria in your body, do so much in your system, so many good things. We need that bacteria. We need those good probiotics. So this test not only checks for pathogens like parasites and bacteria and fungus, but it also checks for the good bacteria that need to be there, which we want to see lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, all of these really good bacteria. We want to see those growing in really nice amounts there, because those are going to really help with digestion, detoxification, etc. Okay? And what else is on the stool test? Well, the other thing that's on the stool test is really like digestive enzymes, whether you have leaky gut. Are you digesting your food properly? Is there inflammation in your gut? Are you intolerant to gluten? You know, these are all the answers that we get, and those tests can be very helpful. This test is more in the magnitude of around $400. Again, you know, just kind of thinking about the cost. A lot of people were asking about cost, so I will go into that as well too. All right. Love the stool test. I think it's helpful for everybody to see what's in their gut and how it's operating, because that is one of the main exits. That's how we get stuff out of our system, is via our gut and our urine. But our gut is one of those main ones that often gets dysfunctional, why a lot of people have, you know, gut issues. Okay. I do like apple cider vinegar. That is actually in my morning drink for everyone who joins my program. I like people doing a little bit of apple cider vinegar, some lemon, some flaxseed oil, some water, and a liquid multivitamin. So that's in my morning drink, and I do like that. There's a really great malic acid in apple cider vinegar, and it can stimulate your digestive enzymes. Okay. Let's see. Someone asked about doing at-home tests, and typically for these tests that are very accurate and work really well, you will want to work with a physician to order these tests, okay? Because the other thing is, if you get these tests at home, you're going to have no idea what to do with it, how to treat yourself, and I don't recommend that you necessarily do these toxin tests at home, because first of all, you're going to get these, first of all, you don't know if they're an accurate company to get them from. Second of all, you won't know what to do. You're just going to freak out, and now you're going to kind of search the internet, try to figure out what you're supposed to do. So I do recommend that you see a naturopathic doctor to get these toxins tested. I do have a virtual practice, so I actually can order these tests for people in many different states, especially if you're in California, and I can make suggestions for people in other states. If you're in California, I can order those right for you and be your physician and help you through this process, okay? All right, what else did people ask? How often to get these tests done? So you will want to get these tests done at least every 3 months if you're working with someone. Usually I like to get them every 3 months. It kind of depends though, if we're kind of feeling like we're getting where we need to go and we kind of want to wait till the end. We may wait a little bit longer. So it just depends, but it averages about 3 months. The reason for that is things like red blood cells, hormones, antibodies have a lifespan of 3 months. So we usually see a change over 3 months. So that's why your doctor, if they're kind of watching your anemia or something like that, they may check you over 3 months, or your blood sugar, they'll check you over 3 months. Okay. So usually about every 3 months, but that I wouldn't say that that's everything is customized so that I understand when we need to retest and what we need to do. Okay. For Canada, anyone outside of the country, you can do my program in terms of my course, and that course will help you to understand what you can order from your doctor if you're outside of the country. Unfortunately, I can't order any tests for you, but we can, in my course, you can learn what you might be able to do with your own doctor, okay? I'm out of the country, but will be traveling to the U.S. end of June. Could I do a virtual appointment with you and get the testing done while I'm there? Depends on if you are here for at least a month, the person who asked that question, because you'll need to, we'll need to get those tests to you and then order them and then have a follow-up where I can then just kind of figure out what you're supposed to do. And that's we would do like a medical evaluation or a wellness evaluation. If you're here for about a month, that would work out. Okay. All right. Great question. Okay. Other questions that were asked. I think I covered all of them. The other types of testing we could do that, if we kind of go a little beyond toxin testing, is we could test things like genetics that could tell us a little bit about your detox pathway. We could check for your methylation pathways. Genetically, do you have a big funnel? Do you detoxify really well? If you're having symptoms, potentially genetically you don't detoxify as well as others. Other tests we could do are like food intolerance panel. A food intolerance panel I like to do just to see in the last 3 weeks of what you ate, are you having any inflammatory reactions to that? That's a blood test. And then we check if you're having any inflammatory reactions. Now, there's a lot of false positives and false negatives on these food intolerance panels. So I really just use them as a guide, kind of like a guide to figure out what's the best nutrition plan for you. But they are not the end all be all that you're allergic to these foods. These are not allergy tests. They just kind of help us design a diet so that you can have the lowest inflammation as we're treating you. Okay. All right, great. Now, how do you get these tests? Well, either see a naturopathic doctor locally, or if you are in California or certain states, if you're in California, I can order these tests for you. If you're in certain states, I can help you to get these tests. In some states, we cannot get them. And then out of the country, it may be a little harder as well too. But definitely that's something I can do, is help you with these tests or order them myself, okay? I am doing a live masterclass about my entire program tomorrow at 4 p.m. The link is in my bio, and if you click that link, just at the top, you'll see it says free live masterclass. I will be going live answering questions just like this, but I will go in more depth about the entire program. Like, what's the theory behind it? What are the tests? You can actually see samples of those tests. How do we test those things? And then how do we treat? How do we clean up the funnel? Once we identify the toxins, how do we actually clean them up? And a lot of that is cleaning up those 4 things I told you: the gut, the kidney, the liver, and flushing your bile. Those are really the steps to cleaning it out. But if we find that we have heavy metals, that we have environmental toxins, mold toxins, etc., then we will need to do extra things to kind of kill these bugs or pull them, chelate those metals out of the system and really help those toxins to get out. And that's what we're really trying to get at, okay? Almost all chronic disease in my practice, I really feel comes from some kind of toxicity that you've accumulated into your system, and then it's wreaking havoc in your system, causing the symptoms that you're experiencing. I like to call those alarm systems. Another thing you guys can do that's on my website, on the link in my profile, is just do our assessment. Our assessment, it is quite, it's a 10-minute assessment because it is quite comprehensive. And if you have the time to do it, make it through that whole assessment, because actually at the end, you'll get a really nice look at how a lot of alarm systems are going off. Is the foundation of your health strong enough, or do you need to do some work there? And lastly, what does your funnel look like? How does your gut health look? How does your kidney health look? How does your liver, and is your bile congested? And those are the questions that need answered. If you do that assessment and you want me to review it with you, I can also do a discovery consult so we can kind of review all of that. But it's free assessment. It's a great place to start so that you can just kind of see how full your funnel is. And the more full it is, the more you may want to think about some of the testing that we talked about here, okay? I'd like to open up to any other questions before we head out today. I love this testing, and when people get it, they're just like mind blown that this was never tested. This is not anywhere in any, conventional doctors just aren't looking at it from this point of view. And when you start to look at it from this point of view and you start to really understand the root cause of a lot of symptoms really has to do with toxins that are just wreaking havoc on the system. And then you get these things tested. It really provides answers. And I think those answers really make you feel good. It's like, okay, at least there's an answer here, as opposed to just putting on medication, taking medication, and just silencing these alarm systems. We really get to find the root cause of a lot of issues, and then we just start cleaning it up. And the cleaning up part, is really about doing a lot of things with diet, lifestyle, taking supplements, etc. And again, I will be sharing all of this at my live masterclass tomorrow. So if you just got here and you want more information, I will be posting this live on my IG page, but you can also get more in-depth information tomorrow at my live masterclass. That's Tuesday tomorrow, and that is 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if just sign up, even if you can't make that time, because we will do a replay for 24 hours. However, if you want to be live so that I can ask you, you can ask me questions and I can answer, then try to make it to the live class, okay? All right, let's see. What's the panel test? Is that the celiac panel? So we can do a celiac panel. You might have just gotten here, the person who just got here. The celiac panel is something that we can do through Quest. That's something we can do pretty easily through a blood test. But the real kind of way of checking if you actually have celiac often is you want to do a little biopsy. But we could do blood tests to see if that's an option, and that's something that we need to be paying attention to. I have been talking to my doctors for 9 months about the root cause, and they just want to give me meds. I know how you feel. I was there. That's how I became a naturopathic doctor. I had severe eczema, IBS, migraines, and I was just taking steroids, and it wasn't really helping when it came to 2 decades later of me using steroids. And the root cause lies here. This is how I healed myself. I cleansed my body. I figured out the toxins that I had exposure to, and I got them out of my system. So my eczema was really those toxins trying to get out through my skin, because they couldn't get out through my gut because I was constipated, because I had kidney stones and my kidneys weren't filtering the way they should. And that's why I had eczema, because these toxins weren't releasing out the right way. So they were trying to get out through my skin. And now identifying these toxins and being able to flush them out of the system, that was the root cause. That was the answer. If you guys want to learn more about this, just go to my website. The link is on my page, and just on the first page, it just kind of details like what is the root cause. And really what you guys want to know is that your symptom is not the problem. The problem is that there's deeper issues, and often it comes down to those 4 issues: gut, kidney, liver, and bile, that those organs are congested and that there is a problem there and we need to clean it up, okay? So I'm totally with you with just being so frustrated by just being thrown drugs and really like not getting the help you need and really not getting the answers. And the problem with just silencing the symptoms is that you're actually potentially silencing something that's going to become even bigger later on. And I like to say it's kind of like you're driving around your car and then the check engine light comes on. You take the car to the mechanic, and imagine if the mechanic just gave you a cream or a pill to turn off the check engine light, did not even open the hood, check the engine, check what's actually going wrong. And in my practice, that is what I found. What's actually going wrong is that these 4 issues, gut, kidney, liver, gallbladder, or bile, are congested. And so all those toxins are leaking into the system, recirculating back through, and then causing all of the other issues. Your symptoms are secondary and tertiary problems. The problem, in my opinion, is that funnel, okay? If you guys want to learn more about this, again, I'm going to go into a lot of depth about it tomorrow at my live masterclass. And that's a link on my website. Click free masterclass and just register. It's free. This person says NYC won't allow certain outside tests unless it's through Quest. That is true. I actually can still support you with wellness consultations, and I can help find a way to get that testing for you. And also, we also have my course and my coaching program where, what I also find is that sometimes you don't need to test because you're so congested. All you really need to do is uncongest yourself. Think of it like some pipes that are stuck. And even if we don't do any of this testing and we just help those pipes to flow, you will feel better. So really, the first part of it is making sure the pipes are flowing. And if we can get those pipes flowing, the second part is if you're still having symptoms, we need to do these tests. So even for that person who lives in New York City, and it's harder to do tests in New York City, absolutely, New York makes it a little harder. You still need to clean up your funnel, and we have options for anyone in every place there is. So like internationally, we have a course that you can do and a coaching program. And then if you are in California or in certain states, I can help you to order tests, or I can order those tests for you. Okay. And my mission is to make this message. I really feel like everyone needs to know it, because I think it's why all of our cars are breaking down, because our mechanics are really just giving us something to turn off the check engine light, right? They're not giving us what we need to actually fix the engine. And that's the problem. And so that is really my mission, to get it out there. So I actually have solutions for anyone in any place. If you're out of the country, if you're in the country, or if you're in my state. And so either come to my masterclass, follow me because I do these lives every week, or just check out the website and there's a lot of information there. Okay? All right. I hope to see you guys at my live masterclass, and hope you learned something new about testing toxins today. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.